the benefit of John and Jill public, who, perhaps wonder what the Standing Orders Committee is about. And there are people out there who, are interested in the workings of the Parliament and the regulations, which, and I'm using that word liberally, which govern how we operate. So, I wouldn't object at all to that which was discussed with you and Senator Scott Martley. I think it might well be a useful endeavor, not only for the benefit of myself, but for others outside of the pressings of this chamber.
Yes, thank you very much. I just had words with Ms. Douglas Beckford, and I asked her just to print out that for us, because she's up to date with them, so it won't be too much of a laborious task.
Thank you, Chair. Just to recognize that we have been issued with a new copy. So I don't know if of the standing orders. So I don't know if what we have done so far has been incorporated in this new copy as yet. And that we have had serial updates. So I think since we've been doing this process, we've had a number of synopses. So perhaps an amalgamation of that could be done.
Yes, that's the decisions. The only decision taken in relation to this committee's work that would be in that would relate to the question of two things. One would be the video participation in the meetings, and the second one would be, Women's Caucus, because you remember Senator Longmore that those changes have to go to the full Senate for approval. And we weren't really doing them on an ad hoc basis. But maybe when we see the changes, we'll get an idea as to where we have been and how far we have left
to go. We are halfway through the standing orders. We're at 46, and we have to go up to 85. It might be an appropriate time to do a review and a synopsis in terms of where we are, and also to identify those that we may have placed in a parking lot, because this is a peculiar committee. This committee would have gone through all the standing orders and deliberated on most of them, and would have also identified changes, proposed amendments in a lot of them. I believe this work would have surpassed other committees in terms of its deliberations. But there are some items that, whilst we would have deliberated on them, we may not have made a decision on them. And so we would want the clerk to also identify those that we may have parked as we proceed.
Thank you very much. Senator Sinclair, just to be clear, if a member is speaking and they are finished speaking and they don't turn off the mic, right? When I turn on mine, does it automatically cut off that one? Okay, so I would have to cut it off from here if they don't turn it off. Okay, thank you very much. So that discussion would come under the head of opening remarks. So I'll move to item 5 on the agenda, which is reading and confirmation of the minutes of the meeting held. Yes, sorry.
Opening remarks, but is it that we have taken a position on it? What we have done and has already been, because I heard Senator Gale last comment, which already exists in a report form. We just update that. And then identify the ones that are no decision was taken, which I think there are a few of them.
Yes, Senator.
That is a decision.
Senator
Suppose Ms.
Sinclair,
Beckford would wish to know that.
Ms. Douglas Beckford has indicated that she does have it already. It's just a question of printing it for us. Because as she goes along, she...
Yes.
Yes, that's our position. As she goes along, she deals with it. And I should have also indicated that the clerk, Ms. Valerie Curtis, is actually out of the jurisdiction attending a Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference in Ghana. So apologies would be noted for her as well. So, minutes of the meeting, July 28, 2023. Attendance, these minutes were circulated. I take them as read. I would ask you just to go through them with me, please. On page 1, indicating members present, absent for Senator Braham, Ms. Curtis, Lowe, Douglas, Mr. Luton, Ms. Hamilton, Ms. Pattison, and of course the committee clerk, Ms. Douglas Beckford. And that's page 1, so I don't think there is any issue there. Page 2, minutes were confirmed. Legislative Council, Ms. Douglas indicated that she had 2 redrafts of provision. She then proceeded to quote as 46.5. And the discussion of 46.5 there continues on page 3. Contributions from Senator Longmore dominate page 3. Senator Scott Motley. I'm trying to find the decision that was taken. Fraser Binns contributing. Senator Gale on page 4. Senator Longmore, page 5. The clerk pointed out that unless a member physically checked for herself, at a certain number of ayes or noes were announced but did not tally with the members in the chamber, no one would be able to identify the error until the minutes were published. She said that it was at the time of the query would be made by members concerning his or her vote. She said, therefore, she did not know how that aspect would be handled. Senator Sinclair queried whether these issues were addressed under paragraph 3 and 5 of the redraft. On page 6, reference made by Ms. Douglas to the United Kingdom Parliament, and an amendment was proposed. Senator Longmore asked the clerk whether the clerk was capable of clarifying the vote. Senator Longmore observed that there was a possibility of the vote being cast in error could exist. That's page 6 of 8. Senator Morris' intervention is contained on page 7. Senator Morris raised the issue of how a member would know definitely that his vote had been counted incorrectly. And you see, all of these are aspects of the discussions around 46.5. Ms. Douglas said that she understood Senator Morris' question as to how a member would be able to know exactly how he voted, and suggested the best way to achieve this was to make a slight change to 46.4, and would now read, immediately after the clerk has collected the votes and abstentions, the president or in any committee, it should be the chairman. That you were the chairman, you see? Yes. So it will be the president or any committee chairman. or in any committee, the chairman shall state the names and numbers of ayes and noes respectively, and the names and numbers abstaining, and declare the result. Now, can I say? Okay. I would agree. This is really a matter arising. I would agree with this, but I would say only if there is a query. You get what I'm saying? I don't think that we should do this as of practice. It should be if a member says, I'm contesting that vote, or there's a query as to how the vote went. Anyway, let me continue and then we can deal with it. Ms. Douglas went on to clarify that if the changes to 46.4 were accepted, then it would require a change of 46.5 to read as follows. If a member hears that his vote was counted wrongly, how we would know that? The member may alert the president as soon as the numbers are announced before we go to division, who shall then direct the clerk to announce, this is what I was saying. If the vote of the member is recorded incorrectly, the president shall either direct the clerk to alter or direct that a fresh division be held. This is very practical, and I like this, right? So it says now, Senator Sinclair, and this is on page 8, Senator Sinclair asks whether members accepted the new draft proposed. Senator Gale requested time to review the formulation. Senator Sinclair then indicated at the next meeting, the committee would take a decision on the amendment being proposed, 46, and finalize 46.5, 46.4, and finalize 46.5. Members were in agreement. So Senator Sinclair, you are the chairman of the committee on the last occasion, so I'm going to turn it to you to. Okay, so I'm going to allow you a bit of time to look for that. And then now you have this here, so this is the proposed for 46.5, so we need your approval on it.
Just what is in the minutes?
Thank you. Just can I have a motion confirming the minutes, please?
Second.
Senator Longmore, seconded by Senator Gale.
Yeah.
Senator Fitzhenley, this is an audio system, it is not a control device.
No, I believe
You're
that
going to look at 40.
we had really actually settled on 46.4. As it was
But there's
set out in the minute.
The clerk is telling me that.
46-4 was decided on at the meeting of the July 14th, but at the last meeting she had proposed the insertion of the names and the numbers of members voting and the names and numbers of members abstaining, so the committee was to have decided on that.
Okay. I think it was Ms. Douglas, right?
Yes.
Who had, because I have that in my, as a note in my, on the actual draft that we got, when the proposal was being suggested to include names and numbers of those voting aye and no, respectively, and names and numbers of those abstaining.
Well, what I'm saying in relation to that, if I can make a contribution, you don't have to turn it off. Okay, if I can make a contribution, I think that it would be tedious now if you put this in the standing orders. So every divide you get, you have to call out the numbers.
From a practical point of view, what was being looked at, and this area I believe Ms. Curtis had actually come in, is that if it is noted that way, with the names, that it would not necessarily be done in the session, this same sitting. If a person, in looking at the minutes of the meeting, because you have the minutes of the Senate and it would identify how the vote would have gone, right?
No, but you see what is happening here now. Remember how the vote is taken, Senator Longmore, aye. Senator Brown, aye. Senator Johnson, no.
Right.
Senator Fitzhenley, yes. So the names are called.
Names are called.
It's only if I think if someone takes an issue with the tally, that you would use this system to go back through and say there are 10 ayes, Johnson, Smith, Sinclair, Gale, and 5 noes. So you call, I don't think it's necessary.
I believe it was seeking to cover up a situation that if when one, because the record, let us say that Ms. Lowe, for example, and voted a particular way, yes? And I voted no. When you get the result, you are getting just numbers to say the ayes have it. And then you make your declaration. Right. But when the minutes are being recorded, and, for example, somebody views it, it may reflect that how it was recorded would have Ms. Lowe saying no, and I may have been saying yes. It can be corrected. It allows for the correction to be done. You're not going to go through in the actual...
But this would give the presiding officer the responsibility to go through and say there are 5 noes and 6 ayes, and the following people voted this way for everyone.
No.
For every divide.
Not necessarily in the session. Not necessarily in the sitting.
Because look here. You could say immediately after the clerk has collected the vote and abstention, the president or chairman of any committee shall state the names and numbers voting ayes and nay, if requested by a member to do so.
Yes, I understand. If a query is made, yeah.
Welcome, Senator Morris. You're stating the numbers anyway, because you're going to say 5 this and 5 that. So if a query is raised, then the chairman or presiding officer shall state the names.
Is that at the point where if a member state that he voted in error?
You don't have to state that. You just say, can I have the names of the people who voted? Because I believe now, if a divide is called and you say to the chairman or the president, could we have the names of the people who voted, sir? I don't think that no presiding officer would refuse. Senator Morris?
No.
I don't think that any presiding officer would refuse that. But you could, because it's not in the standing orders. I could say, or Senator Morris has often done or plan to do in the future. So the presiding officer may very well say, look here, the divide has been taken, I'm not calling the names. But this would give authority, so as the Senator Sinclair has drawn for his pen. So what I'm suggesting, immediately after the clerk has collected the votes and abstention, the president or chairman of any committee shall state the numbers, listen Charles, shall state the numbers voting aye and no respectfully, right? And the names of the members voting aye and nay respectfully, if requested by a member to do so. How is that? Because you're already stating.
Go again, the first one will be, shall state the...
Yes, shall state... Okay, hold on, listen. Shall state the numbers voting aye and no respectfully, right?
Yes.
Comma. And the names of those voting aye and nay or abstaining, if a member requests the presiding officer to do so. That's essentially what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because you state the numbers anyway, you know. Yes. The additional now is the names.
Yes.
And those would only be stated if requested by a member so to do.
Yes.
You follow me, miss?
That sounds very reasonable. That was good.
All right. So what it would read is, Madam Secretary, you can help me here. Immediately after the clerk has collected the votes and the abstentions, the president or any chairman shall state the numbers voting aye and no respectfully and respectively. So it would be numbers voting aye and no and abstaining respectively. If I can quote John Myers, are sitting like that, right? So numbers voting aye, no, and abstaining, right? So it's, yes, so state the numbers voting aye, no, and abstaining respectively. And you could use the word further, and further, the names of those who voted aye, no, or abstained, if requested by a member so to do. So it will just continue. Let me see what you have there, Madam Secretary. All right, so we're going to just ask the committee clerk to just finalize that for us, and we'll finalize it next week. But I think that that is the answer, because you don't want to, you know, sometimes there are repeated calls for divide in a piece of legislation. And the rationale for that, which we accept, is that persons want to emphatically declare that they are against a particular bill, against a particular clause. And therefore, they call for a divide, not because there's any uncertainty in the voting, but as a method of emphatically declaring their opposition to it. So that is where we go. And if it is a member says, Chairman, President, please let us know who voted how, then that would be done. And it would give a further allowance for a member to emphatically declare their position. So there you go. Now, so we are at, can I refer the members now to the supplementary note that we were given concerning 46.5. So arising from that procedure in 46.4, right? A member now said, but I asked for the names and it transpires that my name was incorrectly stated as voting yes or no. If a member states that he voted in error or that his vote was counted wrongly, he may claim to have the vote altered, but only if such a claim is made as soon as the numbers, you would have to go add yes or no, and names have been announced before the result of the division has been declared. Upon such a request being made, the president or chairman shall either direct the clerk to alter the member's vote, right? Or direct that a fresh division be held, which would be my inclination. So the proposed redraft now is this. A member may request to change a vote previously expressed or withdraw a division to abstain previously made if the member's vote was given erroneously, that is to say the member voted wrong, no so? Or the vote was counted wrongly, as soon as the numbers are announced and before the president or chairman has declared the result of the division. So it would have to go read now, as soon as the numbers and the names, no so? Are announced.
The first, a member may request to change a vote previously expressed or withdraw a decision to abstain. If you had decided to abstain, is it that you are going to be given the opportunity to vote again?
What this is saying, you know, a member may request to change a vote previously expressed or withdraw a decision to abstain previously made if the member's vote was given erroneously.
Yes, but it assumes...
that is now giving the member the right to say, when called upon, I said yea when I should have said nay.
No.
But that is what this does.
No, hold on, because there are two activities taking place here. Whether or not the person had voted. So if you voted, you can either vote yea or nay. But how does abstention come into it? Because if you abstained, you know, it means that you never participated in the vote. So why would you be given an opportunity now to change a commitment that you had abstained?
Well, that is a decision that the members have to take. Because
on the point of claiming that the vote casted was erroneously done, because you never vote, so it can't be erroneous.
No, what this is doing, you know, this is going beyond Senator Long, you can press it, you know. But you not press it yet. No, press it, man. I want to see how we work in it. Good. This is going beyond. This is going beyond simply saying the chairman or the president has wrongly recorded my vote. This is giving the members the right, and I don't see that there is an issue. If before the vote is announced, suppose I were to say, I abstain, and before the vote is announced, I have had some change of conscience, either precipitated by one of my colleagues bringing something to my attention. Yes. Senator Morris. No, hold on.
So
Yes.
it's by the queue, Senator Morris.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, so I think perhaps maybe along the lines that you might be expressing. The abstention, we have to decide what we want, is in the sense that are we wanting to give the opportunity for a change from abstention versus give an opportunity for an error being reflected? Because, you know, if we are going to say that I can claim an error being yea or nay, I can likewise claim that an error was indicated via abstention. So an error is an error. So I think we should just carte blanche decide that, okay, we are given the opportunity for and the correction of errors.
Yes, Mr. Chair. I mean, one of the things that we have to bear in mind is that in collecting the votes, the clerk would also have the records of Hansard, isn't it? To capture how individuals voted. And my understanding is that, I mean, this is related to a clear error that an individual would have detected after they see what the results are from the voting. Now, if it is that they say the answered report captures that the person abstained when the person in fact voted, then, I mean, correction can be made. But, I mean, apart from that, then, you know, the person couldn't just say there's an error in abstention and want to change their vote just because of having a change of mind, because that wouldn't be an error. It would just be a clear change of mind along the but the clerk would have to be guided by the records of Hansard, I believe, in all of this.
So your position is different to that of Senator Longmore, who is suggesting that it would be perhaps inconsistent to allow a member to say, when called upon, I voted nay when I ought to have voted yea.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be perhaps inconsistent to allow that, but not to allow a situation where somebody says, John Brown, abstain, and they won't get a chance.
Absolutely. No, sir. Couldn't do that.
So
you abstain. Can't just claim an error on that.
Hold on now, let me see. Yes, Charles.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I can't see what would be so difficult in a person who may have either A, been erroneously recorded as abstaining, or may have abstained and in the brief moment had a quick reflection and then would have. Yes. And can I, okay, but I'm saying, all right, let's take it easy.
Will you allow the
So,
member
Mr.
to
Chairman,
complete?
Mr. Chairman, there are two redrafts. There's one which is on the back page of the. So I would ask you also, because you have read the first redraft, but can you read the other redraft which is on the back page?
Go ahead and read it for us.
Because that second redraft says, a member may, as soon as the numbers are announced and before the president or chairman has declared the result of a division, request to change a vote previously expressed or withdraw a decision to abstain previously made by the member on the ground that the member, well, this may require some adjustment.
Well, all you would have to just take out on
Yes.
the ground that.
Right. So it would require, that's what I'm saying, it would require a little amendment. So that would be 45(1). And then it goes on 45(2). Upon such request being made, the president or chairman shall either direct the clerk to alter the members' vote. That again might require, based on the discussion, or direct that a fresh division be held. If a member believes that is...
Hold on, you see, no, sorry to cut you. You see what Senator Morris is saying? In relation to the abstention, you're not only saying, in relation to a vote, you say, President, I voted no erroneously, it should have been yea. Different thing now when the abstention, you say, President, I should not have abstained, I wish now to vote. My vote is to be recorded as yea. Are two different things that,
Yes. So, and I'm asking you, why wouldn't a member...
So you get it now.
Why wouldn't a member be allowed to...
Let's hear what Senator Gale has to say.
I would have raised it that you committed by action to abstain. And in my mind, that can't be viewed as an erroneous outcome of a vote. And so this is now giving the opportunity for someone who had abstained to now cast a vote. That's a different action, separate and apart. But I believe you got it now.
Well, what we are going to do, I have gotten it. But what I'm going to do is that we're going to continue this debate on the next meeting. Senator Gill, I have noticed a certain amount of indiscipline creeping into the attitude of the members of this committee. And I'm going to put a stop to it. You cannot be talking to Senator Sinclair and Senator Fitzhenley. When I'm talking, no, remember the microphone is now very sensitive, So, okay, so we're going to continue this 46.5. But I have some good news for you because our committee clerk has presented this for us, and I ask you to be carefully listen. Immediately after, this is 46.4. Immediately after the clerk has collected the votes and abstentions, the president or chairman of any committee shall state the names. No, you take out names. Shall state the numbers. Shall state the numbers voting aye and no and abstaining respectively. Right? And further now, the names of those who voted aye and no and abstaining if a member requests so to do, and shall then declare the result of the division, or as the case may be, give his casting vote. Can I get a yea or a nay?
I so move for that.
Senator Sinclair?
Amendment.
Eh?
I so move for that amendment.
Seconded? And is it accepted?
Seconded.
Senator Fitzhenley? Speak into your mic, man. This is the sort of indiscipline I'm talking about. So, okay, good. So that is work done. Thank you very much. 10 o'clock is the time that we are required to vacate the chamber. So, accordingly, this meeting of the Standing Orders Committee is adjourned for a date to be fixed.